Hello and welcome to Uzi Talking 2 with me, Jeff Hollerhead, and Soul Jam, Joanne, Jay and James. How are you guys?
Alright,
Good, Jeff. Good to see you. Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure. So let's get down to it. Soul Jam. What is Soul Jam, Joe?
Soul Jam is a trio of, I don't know, funny looking people get together and pay tribute to all the greats out there and do our own little versions of the songs we love, and hopefully you all do.
So Soul Jam is a Motown soul band that play in the top end of town, as they're known,
You do?
in the Great Charles Street,
That's the one. We have done, yeah.
Grand Central Hall,
Yeah.
and all over Liverpool.
Yeah.
So then, let's tell us where it all began. What got you into music, Joe?
I've always sang musical theatre, performing arts and stuff like that. And I sang with college, and I met this guy when I was 17. I was in a little band as a backing vocalist with a little denim skirt on, and we went to a Battle of the Bands competition. And he was on stage looking like Don Johnson with his suit jacket rolled up.
I had heard it.
With a big band and a brass section and everything, all doing this. And I just knew, like, what are we even here for? They're going to win. And they did. The Persuaders, wasn't it? But this guy who's just owned the room, I was like, who is that?
Yeah, so this is a young, how old was you then?
He was 32, I was 17.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was about 20, 21, I think.
20? So your musical roots, how did you get your musical roots? And
Similar to you. It was one of them things, Jeff, as a kid, as a boy, you know, your mum and dad used to have parties in the house and all that, and you used to go, yeah, I'd get on the chair and sing us a song, you know. And it was kind of like, oh, come on, get up there and give us a song, you know. And I'd always hold a tune, even as a kid, and I just remember my dad always kind of pushing me in that direction. I used to always sing in school and all that, the lads would go, sing us a song. And then of course you push your dad to go buy me first guitar when I was about 12, you know, and that's when it really started to develop, you know, obviously playing guitar and singing and wanting to be involved. And then I got myself involved in my first band when I was about 14, 15. We should do the Royal Irish thing.
What were they called? What was the band?
A band called Annex. There were 4 lads from
Annex?
school. Yeah. Well, we loved the Beatles. Everyone loved the Beatles, didn't we?
Sounds like
but the 4 of us,
yeah.
The 4 of us could sing, so the harmony thing was always there, you know. And we used to do gigs with, at the time, like Lee Curtis, the All Stars, the Undertakers and all that, Jeff Nugent. So as a young kid, I idolised these, you know. And I was kind of on the same bill as them sometimes, and they were great. So seeing that, you know, it enticed you more to want to develop as an artist and be in bands forevermore. And then of course, you know, you just want to write songs and you want to do the big thing, go off to America with the guitar over your shoulder and stuff. Sadly, that didn't happen. But I've always been involved from a young age, mate, you know. But forming Soul Jam is, I'll bore you with this. I mean, I had a few throat issues. I had a thing called vocal cord dysfunction, which took them 2 years to find what it was. And I was basically, my throat would close up and it would close when it should open, so I couldn't get no air in. And I'd panic. So from going from being a confident singer, I regressed so much because I just had this shell.
When did this happen? When did that occur?
I actually was doing a hotel abroad in the Canaries. I was doing a flyback and I'd gone over there to do a show, and my show at the time involved a little bit of comedy, plenty of soul, Motown and all the legends, you know, your Sinatras and all that. I had no inkling, and then I went on stage, beautiful stage, captive audience, and I just felt this thing, kind of, it was almost like my breath was cutting off. And the more I thought about it, the worse it got. And it was literally halfway through a show and I had to stop.
Ooh.
It's never happened, but it continued to happen then. And they said, it's asthma. It's not asthma. You know, I had issues as a kid, but no. Eventually they found out what it was. And when they found out, my preemptive strike was, rather than retire, I always had Joe to sing songs for me, and we were pals. I said, do you want to be in this group? I want to form, a trio with another friend of ours. His name was Neil Story. He was a great guitar player.
Yeah.
And And they agreed, fortunately, so that's what we did. So I could take a back seat and rely on Joe's fantastic voice and try and sort this out.
Okay.
And eventually, several months later, it came back and it was all right again, you know.
So when did James Franklin suddenly appear into the Soul Jam? What's your story with this connection with the Soul Jam?
Okay. About I've been with you 2 years now, mate. So 2 Christmases ago, Jay phoned me up and he said, "All right, mate, are you busy?" and all that. And I said, yeah, you know, because I was doing my own thing. And he said, "Peel Hay and Herbie on the Wirral,
Yeah.
we can't do the gig, just wondering, can you cover it?" And I could. So we were talking for about half an hour, weren't we? And
it was catch up, wasn't it?
it was catch up, yeah, because we hadn't spoken for a while. And after half an hour, he just went, "Do you want to join Soul Jam?" And I went, "Yeah, all right, yeah." And that was it. I didn't hear anything until about March, because obviously the other guy in the band, you know, they were sorting everything out. Then I got the call in March. He said, "Look, are you still up for it?" I said, "Yeah, definitely." And did the first gig, April 2019.
So how did you know Jay and Joe?
Okay, so me and Jay go back a long 30 years. Back when you used to put ads in the Liverpool Echo for musicians, and that's the only way you could do it. Put an ad in. Singer wanted to join boy band, because I was getting a boy band together. And Jay turned up, looked the part, like Joe said, you know, good looking lad, and he could sing. I thought, yeah, this is great. So me and my alpha, we were like auditioning. When we had loads of singers rock up. We had another guy called Andy Corley, who'd gone on to do other things. I think he sung with the Pete Best Band and all that. And Jay. And my manager come up from London, and when he found out Jay was married with a kid, he said, "No, we can't have that." And I was like, "What?"
So this was like a professional boys band, yeah?
It was, yeah.
What was the boys band
Well,
called?
I was in a band called BMD, and this was going to be an outcast from that called Moon Over Miami. It was going to be. And we had interest with Sony Music and all that, but nothing come with it, you know.
Was that like at the time, like the Spice Girls and like the boy bands?
Take
like,
That was brilliant.
Take That was coming in,
All
so that was a
kind
sort
stuff.
of trend.
Yeah. There was no boy bands from Liverpool at that point. It was before Boyzone and all that. Shite.
Yeah, so
But,
it was a trend, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but Jay, I had to phone him up and tell him, you know, he's, "Look, mate, I'm sorry."
I was in then, I was out.
Yeah, but then
Because he had a kid, yeah.
it was probably about 15 years later, I was doing a solo thing in the taxi club in Liverpool. And Jay was in the audience, he went,
Well, tell him what you were doing, because James Franklin, as we know him years ago, is actually a brilliant kind of comedian as well as a
visual,
visual comic. So
I was called Marty Stone, did all the clubs.
What's that, as a comedian, stand-up comedian?
It was a personality vocalist, I like to call it.
yeah,
But a bit of comedy as well.
So you could do like like what do you call it? Like a stand-up. No, where you take a personating.
It was visual comedy. Like you used to do a full Monty sketch with the welly boot and all that. So
Right there, full Monty.
Yeah,
stripping off.
Yeah, he used to strip right down like. But the only thing was I had my dignity was a welly.
and the maddest thing was, I'd just seen this guy on stage.
Oh,
Of course,
this was
years later. Sorry to cut across you, and it was funny because the social club he was in, well, it was called the Harrington Club, I think at the time.
Oh, it was the taxi.
It was the taxi, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd gone with my missus and was sitting there, and he runs past, and he'd done a double take. He looked at me, and I could tell in his eyes, I went, "That's James. That's James." And it was like, he kind of turned around and thought, "I know that ass." Do you know what I mean? He said, and he kind of went like that, give me the thumbs up.
And we had a chat in the break and that, and then it's like, oh my God, you know. And then when I first met Joe was at Kate Michael's funeral. She used to work for Cars Entertainments.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first time I met Joe, because Jay and Joe went. And yeah, and that was pretty much it. I never saw Joe again until I joined Soul Jam, really. Well, I used to go and watch him because I was a big fan of Soul Jam. If I ever had a rare night off, or mainly on a Monday, Mad Monday, I'd always, what time is Soul Jam on? Where are they? I'd make sure I was there, because I just loved them.
Well, you're really talented because your voice is amazing. You know, it's you've got a good range.
It fits in great.
Yeah.
It just works great.
It really is a nice blend.
Yeah, and the voices gel splendidly. It was like it was meant to be. You know?
So Soul Jam, I mean, a lot of people that don't know you, in Liverpool you've got a big following. That's right, isn't it?
We're very lucky, Jeff.
Yeah, you're lucky.
I mean, we've got people who've come to watch us from day one, and they've stuck. You know, they follow us from bar to bar, place to place, and no matter how many times we sing the same songs, they really
Just turn up.
Yeah, they turn up, and we're really blessed in that sense.
Yeah.
It's great.
So you like say Soul Jam with the Beatles, like Beatle
As Joe will qualify, a lot of them are personal friends now, do you know what I mean? Because we've known them that long.
Yeah.
But you get to know the audience, you know, you stay behind, have
Yeah.
a little chat and a catch up.
Well, I remember the first gig. It was the Easter bank holiday, wasn't it, in April?
Yeah.
It was Bank Holiday Monday. Nelly Foley's down on
You
the
were
strip.
shitting yourself.
Shit myself. Oh my God. I walked in and I could just see the whole of the audience because it was rammed. Come on then.
Yeah, it shows what you've
Come
got.
on,
You're
Who's
a
the new
different
guy?
fella.
Yeah,
Where's the
come
other?
on then.
Who's this?
That's a good point, that. So you've come in and took, obviously, Neil, guitarist. I've met Neil.
Yeah.
Whatever's gone on, I don't know. Was a different clash, or he had to...
He had a full-time
He
job.
had a full-time job, Neil.
He's a teacher, so that
Oh,
brings
did he
its
have
own
to come in?
stress.
So, yeah.
He couldn't commit really to the full.
Yeah.
Fair play. So you threw an opportunity opens, you've come in.
And,
Right.
I am now.
Where was the gig? Where was it?
It was Nelly Foley's.
Nelly Foley's.
Yeah.
Oh, and he had about 200 people in there.
It was rammed.
Yeah.
It was rammed. And I mean, you couldn't even have a dance floor because people, because it was bank holiday as well.
What did you feel? What was going on? Was you nervous?
I remember it now, just thinking, you know, don't mess up. You know, because these guys for weeks have been building up. You know, we've got a new fella coming. And no one had heard of James Franklin on the strip, you know, because I'm a wedding singer, you know.
Yeah.
So, no one had heard of me, but once, I remember by the break, we had
Yeah.
do it all over.
Yeah.
Welcome lad, get on.
Yeah, we're all right now.
So what was your first song? You remember what you all got
I
to
do.
sing?
Well, the first song we ever got was Chain of Fools with Joe.
Mm.
Jay, what was your second one then?
The Snake.
It was Beethoven, possibly.
It could have been something like that.
Yeah, it was possibly
What did you
Beethoven.
sing?
Mine was Kiss and Say Goodbye.
Kiss and Say Goodbye to Manhattans. So as soon as he heard him open his gob, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll do.
And that was it, like, and it was great. And I only did a Monday and a Thursday then, and then COVID broke, and it's done me a lot of good because I knew I wanted to be full-time with Soul Jam, but even on a Saturday I said, I want to come do the Cotton Club with you, but, you know, it was a duo gig, and so COVID broke, Jeff, and a lot of things have gone on, and I've just decided now, I broke away from the agency, and I'm going full time with these guys, you know, and I'm made up to be doing.
So how did you get to, you know, how did you get to practice, you know, say for the pre-COVID, did you just send song sheets to each other?
Zoom.
Oh yeah?
Chats and,
Oh, cyber, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you have to adapt, don't you, mate? And it's like, all we're doing is, we'll know what backing track, we know what key we're doing it, and it'll be like, let's just crack on and do it, you know. So if it's a thing Joe's singing, it's become almost, we know which parts.
No, you're the harmony king. Jay is just brilliant at harmonies,
Yeah.
and he tells you do that, and you do it. It's great because the lower harmony, because Jay's the lower harmony, and
Yeah.
I always think that's the hardest harmonies to do, the lowest one.
Yeah, to find.
I do.
Yeah.
Lower harmonies, it's a
So
skill.
say to warm up, a little example, do you start off with the low, so like do, re, mi, so do, and
We don't even do that, mate. It's just, there'll be an idea for a song,
yeah.
and it's almost like, I'll look at it and go, okay, there's certain songs you want to do, but you also want to put your mark on it. So certain songs perhaps won't even have backing vocals on them. So there'll be let's say for example, At Last Letter James.
Yeah.
So when Joe sings that, there's never been any backing vocal on that
Yeah.
song. So we'll do it with backing vocals. So I'll go, okay, I've got some ideas for this.
Yeah.
So layer some backing vocals in. I'll have the idea, I'll know what James should sing, I know what I'm going to sing. And we'll just get together and go, how about this? And we'll just make it work. So we'll adapt it to suit Soul Jam, you know. And that's a process I enjoy, you know.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So like for anyone who's budding, like a budding musician or vocalist, is there any sort of strategy, or do you just get together And say, for instance, gives an example, maybe like you go like a oh, be blending.
Do you want us to sing?
Yeah.
It's very early.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you're going to give us
Sing
some
lessons.
performances later on, aren't you? We're going to
Yeah, we look forward
give
to
us
that,
some
mate.
main videos and
I've got the welly there, Joe. So, get
I
that.
thought that was the nose.
You get your boots to dry off.
There you go. Yeah.
Fantastic. So Soul Jam, great stuff. Well, stand by for part 2. We'll get into deep of Soul Jam's roots and gigs and funny stories. Take care.